guest speaker today, Alex Jones. And many of you will probably know Alex Jones from any number of sources of media, including his nationally syndicated radio talk show, which is then also broadcast on Austin Cable Access on television. Alex Jones is also a documentary filmmaker, and to this date he's made 15 films, including his latest, Terror Storm, which is a history of government-sponsored terrorism. He also has two websites, INFOWARS.com and PrisonPlanet.com, that some of you may have visited. And you might have seen him also on television and any number of newsmaker interviews as well. I don't know how many of you saw Richard Linklater's recent film called Scanner Darkly, but Alex Jones was also featured in that particular film. And if you visited Alex Jones's MySpace webpage, you'll see that he has over 27,000 friends on that, which I think is quite an accomplishment. I heard of Alex back in 1993 when I first came to St. Edward's to teach here, and that was just a few months after the incident in Waco. As we all know, that just sort of briefly, it was the Branch Davidians had stockpiled weapons, and when they were confronted, they set themselves on fire, and that was the official line. But there was a show in Austin called the Jeff Davis Show. There was a filmmaker by the name of Linda Thompson, and also Alex Jones, who questioned that official line, and who said that the U.S. government had really infringed quite seriously on the constitutional rights of U.S. citizens, undermining civil liberties. And in fact, Alex Jones became, after that incident, quite a standard bearer for those who, again, were suspicious of the official line and were looking for alternative explanations for these particular events. And so he's quite a high profile in Austin in terms of his radio show. You also see him out in public with his signature bullhorn, speaking truth to power. So when 9/11 happened, I think it was fairly natural and understandable that a lot of people would seek out Alex's sources of information in his radio show and his websites to answer questions that a lot of people were dissatisfied with the official answers. And things didn't seem to fit together really after 9/11. And so there was a lot of people. It wasn't just college students. It was university professors. It was scientists. It was people from all walks of life who were interested in what Alex had to say. And this group, very diverse and numerous, sort of coalesced into what is now the 9/11 Truth Movement. The corporate media will label Alex Jones a conspiracy theorist as a way of discrediting him. But I'm very glad that Alex Jones is here today with us in person to talk about the 9/11 Truth Movement and to answer your questions. So please join me in welcoming Alex Jones.
Thanks a lot, Professor. Thanks for having me here. It's great to be visiting all you fellow Austinites. My sister's 15 years younger than me, and she actually goes to school here. And Trey back there is a senior, about to graduate, and he runs my Sunday syndicated show at KLP J590 from 4 to 6 p.m. So I have a lot of connections to your fine institution here. I know that this is a rhetoric class, and there's also some people here from some of the other classes that your professor teaches concerning the media. And so a lot of you are involved in media, or you're interested in having a career in journalism or somewhere in communications. How many of you plan to be in communications? So most of you. Well, good then, because that's mainly what I'm going to be talking about here. And then, of course, we'll take some time out to take your questions. In fact, how long do we have? I should have asked that at the beginning.
We have an hour.
Fantastic. So I figure I'll just talk about 30 minutes and then take questions. And you're welcome to go and take questions as well. You're going to get the more sedate Alex Jones, because I am not a morning person. It takes me some time. I've been up about 3 hours, and I'm just starting to wake up here. But number one, since 9/11 was raised, let me just start at the end and talk about September 11th, and then get into media and alternative media and what's happening in the world. When Popular Mechanics comes after me, or Senator John McCain comes after me and says I'm a danger to America, or comes after people in the alternative media and the truth movement, they don't come after us on the facts. They don't specifically go after us on what we've actually said. They build straw men. And that's why Professor David Ray Griffin has just finished a new book debunking the 9/11 debunkers. It's all lies. The 9/11 Commission comes out appointed by Bush and calls itself independent. Appointed by Bush, independent. They first want to have Henry Kissinger as the head of it. Mr. Whitewash, Mr. Kingmaker, Mr. Corruption, all the way back to Nixon. I mean, you name it, he's involved in it. And now it's come out that for the last 5 years at least, since about a year into Bush's administration, Kissinger's been coming to the White House or been coming to wherever Bush is staying every week for several hours of meetings to tell Bush what to do. So the independent head was going to be Henry Kissinger, and the whole time he's basically been telling Karl Rove and George Bush what to do. But the press doesn't question that. They're repeaters. And the so-called press, owned by the big 5 corporations that own over 90% of the media, just regurgitate. They go to a press conference and they're told by the Pentagon, or they're told by the Justice Department, or they're told by Tony Snow of Fox News, now being more honest about his position, an intelligence operative basically, to just sit up there and lie to the public and twist and spin. So when you investigate 9/11, actually go check out the debunkers first. And then I want you to go research their debunking and find out they're lying to you. Now, just because the mainstream media is bought and paid for predominantly by foreign banking interests, doesn't mean that everybody in the media is bad or corrupt. Most of them, again, are highly controlled by their editors. They're told what they can write about. You're going to experience that. I would challenge you in your life to have your own alternative media ventures that you're involved in. Whether it reaches 10 people or 100, it doesn't matter. It's very valid. And then go experience old media, dying dinosaur media for yourself, to firsthand see the control, to firsthand be told what you can and can't say, and to firsthand be told, oh, that's your opinion, you can't have it, but then watch people who have an establishment opinion be unleashed and praised and vaunted and crowns thrown at their feet. I want you to experience that for yourself, to know how real it is. But again, I'm already digressing. At the same time, much of the mainstream media is controlled, bought and paid for by gatekeepers, by intelligence operatives, by idea men, by PR firms, by think tanks. But just because the mainstream media is riddled with propaganda, spin, lies, and some truth, doesn't mean the alternative media is completely trustworthy. And that's why I say, verify the information you hear. Check it out for yourself. Don't just look at somebody's suit or their hair color or their eye color or how nice their tie is and say, I choose to believe that person over this expert, when they put the experts up on TV or the experts in the newspaper. Go out and fact check what they're saying. Because there is a lot of disinformation in the alternative media as well. There's kooks, there's weirdos, there's crazy people, but more often than not, when I'm being attacked for what I put forward on 9/11, I'm not attacked on what I've said or what I've written or what I've researched or who I've interviewed. I'm attacked for what somebody else has said. And doing this for the many years I've been doing it, I've learned more and more that in many cases it later comes out that people that were putting out ridiculous theories and kooky ideas that couldn't be verified and were almost tailor-made to look ridiculous were indeed on the payroll of large corporations that were being funded through corporate welfare or who were getting government contracts, and that they were actually there to poison the well and basically provocateur people into not trusting alternative media. So this is a very sophisticated system that we're in, and there's different layers to it, but it's actually pretty fun to get into it and start researching it and to learn more and more and to get more and more informed. It's addicting to actually not just go out and create news stories or make documentary films or write books or do radio shows, but it's addicting to start analyzing the media and the strata and all the different connections. It's just a massive area that no one person could ever fully understand, but you can grasp large parts of it.